Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Karma by Lawrence Manassian. Okay, this was a hard book to get through. Oh, not because it's a bad book. That's an actual scene in the book. And after a certain point, there's nothing but blood in the pages. At one point, it's almost a welcome sight to see snot in the pages because it's like, oh, at least it's not blood. And it's not mixed with blood. Dude, like it's really rough book. A lot of violence in this book. I'm just saying. A lot of cursing in this book. Very creative uses of various different pejoratives. Yeah. Yeah, this was messed up. Anyway, it's recommended to read the book in chronological order, so first page, second page, third page, and so forth. It's laid out in a specific way. Personally, I don't know why someone would decide to flip to the end, but then again, I know my wife sometimes does that. It's like, what are you doing? What are you freaking doing? So I guess that the warning is important. Not for me, though. It only makes sense. Don't flip to the end. All right, you want to flip to the end? Make sure you flip through all the other pages first. Anyhow, so yeah, you think the story is all about this one guy, and in some ways it kind of is. But no, not really. The story is about an a-hole. See, karma. Basically, this is about a guy who essentially gets what's coming to him. He's a bad guy. He beats up people. He tries to rob people. He's upset at everybody, hates the world, and he's got some serious issues. The guy needs therapy. The man needs therapy. He's not going to get that therapy, though. Instead, karma's going to get him. One of the things I find odd about the book is that the entirety of the book is called Karma. So I have to sit here and wonder, like, at the end, I see this one guy gets what's coming to him. But the book also mentions, rightfully so, that karma doesn't just happen to... I should probably flip through a couple of pages to show you what's up. Actually, I'll do that in a moment because I want to talk about the pages. Anyway, it mentions that karma happens to good people and bad people. Karma isn't just bad things that happen to you. If you put out good in the world, like pay it forward, that'll eventually come back to you. It may take a while, but it will eventually come back to you. Since we only found out about the bad stuff that's going to happen to this bad guy, I wonder if we can have a follow-up story about some good that could happen to this good guy. Because this guy only put out good. This guy who got mugged, he only put out good, all right, that I could see. Maybe we have some reason why that happened. Maybe we can find out what happens with the good that happens afterwards. I'm a guy who's pretty big on balance. I'm just saying. And this guy just got screwed. And there was a couple people who got screwed over by this guy. And it's a shame because, unfortunately, this says a lot about the way that many people think. Oh, something will come back and happen to that guy. Karma will eventually come back to happen to that person. World can't be all about waiting for something bad to happen to somebody or something like that. It's kind of, to me, that's like, freaking terrible person hurting people. Imagine if cops said that. Imagine if cops said, well, we can go after the guy who robbed you and beat up your dog and stuff like that, but eventually something bad will happen to that person. No, it's not the way the world works. It's simply not. So it's cute, but all I could think of was if just one guy, and I think they if you read through the entire book and actually read the final pages, I scanned through them fairly quickly, just, trying to look for some stuff. So I read most of it, just, may have missed something that otherwise could have been important, but pretty sure one of the parts I read was a certain way that the book could have gone down instead. And although there wouldn't have been as much suffering for that, I still feel as though that would have been better in some ways. Because I would have liked to have seen somebody actually step up. I'd like to have seen, what I would have enjoyed seeing is somebody actually being willing to step up. I know that the whole idea of stand your ground isn't particularly popular in the world, not even in the country for the most part, because when you think about what it actually is, but by itself, stand your ground. You shouldn't have to run from bullies. The problem is it's bad people who use the stand your ground also, and they also use in conjunction with another side of the story, or another side of the argument. There's no lies in a one-sided argument. You know what I'm saying? but stand your ground on its own, coming from good people, could be a good thing, you know? This was just utterly violent, reprehensible. Like, dude went and grabbed a kid, was going to hurt a kid. And by a kid, I'm talking about a kid who could, like, maybe just learned how to speak a couple of months ago. I mean, that's how young this kid, and like, the trauma that some of these people are going to have to face, that kid watching his dad get beat up in front of him. Like, this was wicked, man. There's interesting way that the artist, just Laurent, decided to do this book. Here, there's just a lot of beating up on people. I'm not really interested in just the beating up on people thing. No, I'm interested in a couple other parts of this. See the way this book was done? You can see where the parts were drawn. You can also see where Laurent just went and took photographs. Maybe he took these photographs himself. I hope he did. Otherwise, he just took things off the internet, in which case I hope they were royalty-free. But, yeah, he actually took regular... And at first, I didn't know if this was going to work. But I very quickly fell in line with what he was trying to master here. And it's an interesting form of using a comic book that I'm not used to seeing. Like, this was... I don't know if I'd have to have just the right story to be able to tell this, but like, this was probably the best picture of them all in here. Look at this. Here's this guy with a real background, this cartoon guy, comic book guy, holding up this real picture of a fake family inside. That's really interesting. Yeah, I've never seen something like that before. I'm not saying that something like that doesn't exist, outside of this book, but I've never seen that before. Anyway, guys, magazine size. I don't know when the book is coming out, but honestly, this is cool. This is very cool. It is rated M for mature and V for violent and F for effed up. But, okay, I may have added the last part. That's not actually on there. But you get what I'm saying, all right? This really was a fun book. I genuinely enjoyed this book. I don't know, man. I just feel like I wish that I hope there's going to be a follow-up story about the other guy, Maybe show us a dark side of him, why he deserved that beating. Maybe he didn't deserve the beating. Maybe he's going to, maybe him being patient with it is going to get him further reward besides helping out a homeless person, and things like, this isn't bragging. I helped out a homeless person. No, it was not $20, but I did help out a homeless person the previous night. It's 5 o'clock in the morning now. But, yeah. And I'm wondering to myself, what if somebody would have seen that and thought that I was made of money, decided to come after me? Imagine that. So, certain level of realism in this. Certain level of fears coming to life. Anyway, the book gets you thinking. If nothing else can be said about the book, that it gets the gears moving a little bit, greases them. That says something. Consider, if you see the book, consider getting it. And definitely consider writing to Laurent, suggesting that a follow-up story be pursued. Anyway, guys, I enjoyed this. I genuinely did. I read this from cover to cover, all right, including all the backup stuff, the variant ideas, the script work, how he actually did a lot of the scenes and whatnot. It's all interesting. It's very insightful. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.